Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 15th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. You might be able to notice already at the top that I'm a bit under the weather. I'll get into it. But overall, it's been a good day. It's been a good weekend. Happy belated Valentine's Day. Sorry I missed ya, but hopefully your Saturday was good. Hopefully your Sunday has been going well. But yes, as for me, I'm good. Just a bit, a little sneezy, little snotty, too hotty. But yeah, no, I caught a cold over the weekend. Kind of kicked in like around Saturday night and like in full force, and been running ragged ever since. But once again, I want to get a full, weekend, I guess, recap. We can do that, and then we'll, go ahead and do our usual. But yes, we got up, we did laundry, as is tradition. We got a little bit late to the laundromat, but overall we got everything done. It was, no problems, no hassle. We love that. And we get home, get all the laundry folded up, put up, get myself together. I go to the gym. The gym session was a little bit different. I didn't go as heavy. I was kind of feeling it in my chest earlier and just, kind of felt a little bit beat up at the moment. At the time, I wasn't really feeling any sick. I thought okay, maybe it was just like an allergy thing, season change, whatever. I was kind of, psyching myself out or something, maybe. I don't know. So, we go to the gym though all the same. And I more or less would call it like a medium workout. I also tweaked it a bit in terms of, more or less just did 15 minutes of cardio. Yeah, 15 on the Stairmaster. So, pretty much just weight training, but I tried to do a little bit more reps, which it definitely felt good. It was an overall solid pump. I was, happy with it. And got done with that, came home, looked at some news, or at least was looking around for some news. Really wasn't loving what I was seeing. It's I'm not trying to talk about Marco Rubio, saying the same style of bullshit he been saying, in Europe, in some conference or whatever. I'm we can skip that. I don't care. So, and there were several other things. I was I'll keep it in mind in the nebulous, in the news nebulous, but I'm too tired. I'm going to go ahead and take a nap. So that's what we did. We get up a little bit later than I'd like, kind of overslept on my nap, but that's an Isaiah thing to do. But we got up and we headed to Northside. So we got there, got to the homie's house, chill real quick. We then head to Chameleon. Chameleon did not disappoint last night. I wound up getting myself 3 slices. I got the Bianca. Let's just talk about the star of the night, the star of the show. It was this salmon pizza. I immediately saw it and immediately wanted it. For 2 reasons. One, I saw someone attempt to do this on Instagram. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe me and the chef are on the same feed or just have the same, hive mind or something, because they are delivering and I am about to order. So it had some assortment of greens on it. I'm not entirely sure what. I'm pretty sure the white cheese base was some sort of cream cheese, as my friend mentioned after, which it hit. It was definitely right on. Had some capers on it. And then it also had this everything seasoning on the crust. It was amazing. I will say the presentation looked a little just because it had this, it was this pizza and then had just flecks of salmon, maybe that isn't the right word, but that's kind of what it looked like. And I was okay, hell yeah. And I tried it, fuego. The other 2 slices, the veggie, which was this mushroom, greens, feta situation, also banging. The thing that I really liked what they did with the feta is it was almost like they cooked it more in. I don't know how to describe it, or it was just cooked more thoroughly. I don't know, but that it was so gooey and I feel like I don't usually get a gooey feta cheese situation, so that was mwah, yummy. And then, of course, a classico pepperoni pizza slice. And then I had a side of Cajun fries. And a homie ordered garlic knots with the beer cheese. So, I mean, ooh, I was a pig in shit. I was very happy. Very, very yummy. From there, we go to Northside Tavern. Start with a couple of Guinnesses and, chill there for a little bit. Another homie comes through. Actually, a couple of homies came through a little bit, had a little chit chat, a little talk. And that was nice. Post that, we go to Junkers, the old Yunkers, and, close out the night there, just having some drinks, having a good time. I believe I had at least 2 Malort shots, which I guess I'm a Malort man now. I mean, I think this started 2025 where I had my first shot of it, and I'm like, oh, this ain't so bad. It's like black licorice, and now look at me. I'm doing tequila and Malort now. Maybe Fernets every once in a while to shake things up. Who am I? But no, it was a really good time. We go back to the house, new HQ2, and chill. I think I had some dried almonds at one point. Homie makes a blueberry cream cheese bagel, so it was nice. It was a nice little night, man. It was a vibe. No crash outs too. Let's fucking go. We love it. I'm reverting back to my good clean Christian ways. Yes. For now. No, but overall just an awesome night. But as I'm laying down, I'm fully accepting the fact that I'm sick. I'm cooked. I'm cooked as fuck. And y'all know me. Longtime listeners know me. I like to be strong. I like to be tough. I put on brave faces. But whenever I get a cold or something, it's over for me. I am a puddle of mud. I'm gross. I'm nasty. I'm defenseless and vulnerable. So, literally with a Kleenex in my hand right now. I'm actually going to blow my nose. But I just knew that I was sick. It is what it is. I feel like I've been dodging bullets on that. So, I got up and then got home and slept, actually slept. I kind of just sat on the couch or laid on the couch for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, this isn't working. I can't get comfortable enough. And so I went home, slept, got a few hours in, and then got up and did some grocery shopping. Picked up pretty much my essentials plus my little bit of orange juice and I'm trying to think. Actually, I did wind up getting some Kleenexes, some Gatorade, all that good. Actually, for me too, I got some extra Advil because I know I'm probably gonna be going through a lot of that. Just for the congestion thing, that seems to be the most effective thing. Also, feel free to hit me up with any fun cold remedies, medicines that you have tried and work. I feel like the last thing I usually used to do, and I still will do, is the Mucinex D, the one you got to go over the counter for. But I don't know, that stuff always kind of helps for 5 minutes and then kind of feels useless. I would love to, get into something that actually feels a little bit more effective for my symptoms. But whatever, it's neither here nor there. This isn't pharmacy talk. So we get all our groceries. I get home, hang out for a quick second, and you know what time it is after that. It's gym time. That's right. Whether I'm sick, rain, snow, sleet, whatever, I don't care. I'm trying to go to that motherfucking gym. Catch me at the Planet. So I go to Planet and I'm like, well, what's the move? What are we doing? I feel sick. I don't feel great. So I made this compromise with myself. I'm like, I'm going to lift heavy, but I'm only going to lift 3 plates. So we're just going to do 315 max. Just run through our sets. In terms of the free weights, I did 65. I was really happy. It was a chill day at the gym, actually, for both days, not very busy. And I was able to get all my equipment. So that was nice. Bittersweet because I wasn't able to go full out like I liked, but we'll take it. So every, weight training, all goes well. Got the core work in, that went well. Filler and cardio, both thumbs up. So, we can't complain, we can't be mad. Also, I will say that the cold isn't so bad that I'm crippled, debilitated, at least for day, we'll call this officially day 1. at least it's not so bad that I'm completely on my ass. I can't move. I'm super achy. You know what I mean? I will say though, like I mentioned the other day for Saturday, that my chest was really like, tight, really hurting. I noticed that throughout the whole weekend, my legs have been really, really banged up, which is kind of, I don't want to say new, but not as common for me. I feel like my legs usually recover pretty quick. So the fact that they've kind of been cramping a bit extra has been a bit annoying, but we move, we march. It's been okay. I was able to get through everything on my movements. So, yeah, I feel like that's pretty much everything. Hell yeah, we love that. We're all caught up on my Joneses. After that, I came. Actually, there's a little bit more, right? I came home and had a bit of snack, a bit of stretch, and then I gathered a good amount of news. I was ready for it, and I was like, cool, awesome, but I'm definitely taking a nap. And then I proceeded to nap for like another, I think like 2 hours or so. I don't know, something to that effect. So moving a bit slower on this Sunday night, but overall we got everything done and we're here ready to yap about some news. So I'm excited as I can be. Bear with me if I get any kind of, fog or, I know my voice is a little scratchy right now. So yeah, just me culpa, but we're gonna do the best we can to talk about this fucking shit, good, bad, otherwise. All right, let me blow my nose. Let me do the startup, and we'll get into some news. Ugh. Ugh. Also, shout out to the homies who let me know about this story that we're about to get into really quick. Not going to dwell on it too long, but then also hit me up just because they were potentially concerned because they saw like, oh, shooting in Northside, like what the fuck? And they was worried about your boy. Like, nah, we good, we all right, we weren't there. But yeah, we'll cover that in a quick second. Ooh. Okie dokie. All right. So yes, real quick, from WLWT5, 2 dead, 2 hurt after shooting outside nightclub in Northside. Chaos erupted outside a nightclub in Northside early Sunday morning, resulting in 4 people being shot. 2 of them have died. Let's go to the 2 people who have died. Quie Daniels, 23, and Vermonte Blair, 32. So both pretty young guys. And then I do believe 2 people were detained by police afterwards, but it's not clear how they were involved or if any arrests were ultimately made. So yeah, I mean, they leave a number to contact, whatever. You can always come and look it up if you're, know some information, want to be helpful in that way, I suppose. But anyway, let's move on though to the main stories I want to cover for today. From NPR, at least 6,000 killed over 3 days during RSF attack on Sudan's El Fasher, UN says. More than 6,000 people were killed in over 3 days when a Sudanese paramilitary group unleashed a wave of intense violence, shocking in its scale and brutality in Sudan's Darfur region in late October. According to the United Nations, the Rapid Support Forces' offensive to capture the city of Al Fasher included widespread atrocities that amount to war crimes and possible crimes against humanity, the UN Human Rights Office said in a report released on Friday. The RSF and their allied Arab militias, known as Janjaweed, overran Al Fasher, the Sudanese army's only remaining stronghold in Darfur, on October 26, and ramped through the city and its surroundings after more than 18 months of siege. The 29-page UN report detailed a set of atrocities that range from mass killings and summary executions, sexual violence, abductions for ransom, torture, and ill treatment to detention and disappearances. In many cases, the attacks were ethically motivated, it said. Ethnicity motivated. Ethnicity. Gosh, brainy. The RSF did not respond to an emailed request for comment. So yeah, I mean, this is a story we covered a bit back when it was happening last year. So I felt like it was apt to at least come back to remind ourselves of what fucking happened, and not to just know, and to know the full amount in terms of like what the estimated number is, at least from the UN, from what they gathered. Obviously, hearing that number gives it a bit of a sharper focus and perspective. It's very sad. It's also unfortunate that this is still a thing that is going on. The RSF and the Sudanese army are still going at it. They're still fighting. People are still dying. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and start with that and at least have that number. They do go through a little bit more details that I'm not going to get into on this episode, but at least we're more aware of it. Let's move on though to Nigeria. From PBS News, at least 32 dead in Nigeria after gunmen attack 3 communities. At least 32 people have been killed after gunmen launched simultaneous attacks on 3 communities in the north central region of Nigeria, the police and a resident said Saturday. The dawn raid were targeted on the communities of Tunga, Makari, Kankoso, and Pisa in the Borgu area of Niger State. Niger State policeman Waisu Abudan, or Obiodon, we're going to say Obiodon, said 6 people died in the attack on Tunga Makari, adding that a yet-to-be ascertained number of persons were abducted. Abiodon confirmed that the Kankoso community was attacked but provided no further details. Joint security teams were mobilized to the scene for assessment, and effort to rescue the victims is ongoing. Abu Dalia Adamu, a resident of Kankoso, said 26 people were killed in the attack on his community. They were operating freely without the presence of any security. Let's see. Sunday's attacks follow a deadly attack earlier this month in the neighboring Kawara state that killed 162 people. So yes, this is a region that we've been covering a lot more since last year. Things are obviously still going on in 2026. It is very unfortunate to, keep hearing more stories of, mass violence like this. And it seems that the government really can't get a handle on it, really can't seemingly stop it. And, I know that they've reached out to the U.S., to the West for help. They're, I guess, getting some assistance, but I mean, it's seemingly only doing so much in the region, in the area. So, we will, of course, stay posted. And, any more news I hear, we will come back to the region, to the area. But a bit of an update from Israel and Gaza. I know we haven't talked about that area as much lately, but that does not mean that things are not going on constantly. From The Guardian, at least 12 Palestinians killed and several hurt in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. At least 12 Palestinians were killed and several more injured across the Gaza Strip on Sunday, as the Israeli military said it carried out airstrikes in response to ceasefire violations by Hamas. The Gaza Civil Defense Agency said 5 people were killed and several others hurt when an airstrike targeted a tent sheltering displaced people in the northern city of Jabalia. According to the agency, which operates as a rescue force under Hamas authorities, 5 more people were killed and several injured in a separate early morning strike in the southern city of Han Yunis. It said 1 more person was killed after Israeli shelling in Gaza City, while 1 person was killed by Israeli gunfire in Bet Leah. Hazem Qassem, a Hamas spokesperson in Gaza, accused Israel of committing a new massacre against displaced Palestinians, calling it a serious breach of the ceasefire days before the first meeting of Donald Trump's Board of Peace, which I can't imagine any good thing is going to come from this whole Board of Peace bullshit. I know we've mentioned that before in the past, but yeah. I'm sure that something like this is not going to get addressed in any kind of way, shape, or form that is going to be helpful to Palestinians. If anything, it's just going to be something that is used to leverage more out of Gaza, more out of West Bank for Israel's benefit. But, that's going to be something that we're going to get into in the next article. But it's just worth mentioning that the shit is still happening. It's still ongoing. You cannot delude yourself just because you're not seeing as many headlines on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis. They're still doing it. It's just, once again, the media has kind of shifted its gaze to other things. Like, we're talking about the Epstein files more and more and more, or, this, that, and the third. But, like, just because a piece of paper or whatever got drafted up, it doesn't mean that Israel's following that shit in any way, shape, or form. and they're continuing to kill people and having the pretty much just worst fucking reasons and excuses to do so. Like, well, in that camp that we fucking blew the fuck up, there were Hamas terrorists for sure, So yeah, we might have killed some innocent civilians, women, children, whatever, but like it was for the good cause, which is keeping ourselves safer. Hey, don't you remember October 7th? It's the same song and dance. It never fucking changes. So, I know we gotta still keep fucking talking about this shit. But yeah, we are still on the subject of Israel, but moving on from Gaza to West Bank, from Algeria. Not Algeria. Fuck me. Al Jazeera. Israel approves proposal to register West Bank lands as state property. The Israeli government has approved a proposal to register large areas of the occupied West Bank as state property for the first time since the Israeli occupation of the territory began in 1967. The Israeli public broadcaster Kan on Sunday said the proposal was submitted by far-right Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, Justice Minister Yariv Levin, and Defense Minister Israel Katz. We are continuing the settlement revolution to control all our lands, Smotrich said, which is crazy because it's like, you guys aren't on that land. Palestinians are on that fucking land. And you're like, yeah, who cares? But we're also here, and we're taking all of it. It's ours. It's our birthright. It's our biblical birthright, you nerd. We're taking it. And we don't care if we kill all these people. So what? Like, these people have held the same frame their entire careers. They have not changed whatsoever, and they've been getting what they wanted. They've been getting it in their own country, and they get it approved by the fucking West. Yeah, maybe you get UN, to say something or whatever, and then they get called anti-Semitic, and then nothing fucking happens. No one stops Israel from doing the shit that they do. So, they have essentially said, we are going to do everything we can to block the two-state solution. Like, that alone, we're not even going to let get off the fucking ground. And this is part of that effort to do so. Meanwhile, in Gaza, they have imaginary yellow lines, and if you crossed it metaphorically, hypothetically, whatever, we're going to blow you away. We're going to fucking erase you. So, you asked me, has the situation gotten better? Like, to a certain extent, better in the sense of we are seeing less deaths per day. But I mean, we, as in like the West, as in people who are looking at the shit via a news ticker, we're seeing less. That doesn't mean less is happening. If anything, there's just more death happening behind the scenes that we're not talking about, not really dealing with. So yeah, it's obviously an unfortunate fucking scene. It's an unfortunate scenario. But, we're going to keep yapping about it. We're going to keep fucking talking about it. I'm sure there's more here, but we are going to call it covered on that part. Now we're going to take our last story to Russia. Also, I guess a bit of an update, a little bit of a blast from the past. A little froggy. I don't know. Well, I wish I was feeling froggy, but I'm actually feeling poisoned. But no, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. Okie dokie. From NBC News. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was poisoned by deadly dart frog toxin, Europeans say. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny died in prison after being poisoned with a deadly toxin found in Ecuadorian dart frogs, the UK and other allies claimed Saturday. There is no possible explanation other than a deliberate poisoning, European officials said, noting that frogs are not found in Russia. But it's worth noting that there was an amount of this specific poison in his body. Let's see. Russia's prison service reported in February of 2024 that Navalny died after having felt unwell following a walk around the high security facility in a remote town above the Arctic Circle, where he was serving a combined 30-and-a-half-year jail sentence. He was 47 years old. Let's see. I cannot pronounce this. Epidbatidine is a toxin found in dart frogs in South America, the statement said. It is not naturally found in Russia. So, I mean, I think what is being alleged here is that not necessarily they got like even a tree frog poison and then shot that shit into him, but maybe that it was a synthetic that they have worked. It's been a thing that that has been made. But Russia was like, yeah, we're gonna use that on somebody. We're gonna fucking hit his ass up. So, I mean, I don't know if it was something that was administered to him while he was on that walk. I don't know how fast acting that is, or, even if that story, holds weight that he went out like that in terms of taking the walk. But definitely an interesting development. I mean, we haven't really covered specifically like on the podcast, but I've heard stories in the past of, polonium getting used. There's the Novacek. I think we did cover a Novacek story. That might be in our podcast episode history. But someone getting a Novacek poisoning. So Russia is not afraid to do a little bit of poisoning, as a means of assassination. But I will say it's something that it kind of jogged my memory as people were talking about this shit, like on BBC or whatever. This was a very frustrating thing that I think either Putin or Kremlin had kind of put out about Navalny, because they're like, damn, it's so sad that he died. Actually, like, we were trying to talk to, people in the West, and we were really close to hammering out something, and maybe he even could have gotten out, and like, he just would have been forced to exile or something. Like, it's so unfortunate that he died like that. Like, wow. And we don't even know how he died. Crazy. Like, it's just so fucked up. Because then this entire time, it's like, no, dude, you had him in this fucking prison, this whole fucking setup, and then you killed him there. Apparently with fucking, poison dart frog venom or whatever the fuck. Actually, I probably said it in the worst way. Poison dart frog toxin. There you go. Boom. So yeah, a bit of a plot twist. Didn't expect that to be on the toxicology report, whatever. But, interesting news all the same. But yeah, that will be it. That is all I have for today. No shilling. It's Sunday. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.